There was two, back then in 2004, there was two people we knew that were vegan in the town. So like you had to, we literally had to start, and building out our community, it was foreigners, it was Spanish people, and it was more transient people could relate to you. They didn't have you hemmed in a box like those people. So immediately we built it, we started our business. So people had come down from the hills because they'd see you're selling organic veg and you're making kombuchas, and this is, and it suddenly started attracting a community of like-minded people that were into yoga suddenly, and before you knew it, a community of people started to flourish out of, and it became a hub for people that were looking for something more, something different. I won't say more, but like an alternative way of living.
And even I'd say like one of the most selfish reasons why we started the business was to create a community that would support us with the lifestyle changes we had.
Okay, right.
In essence, and create like a restaurant that would feed us the best possible organic food and veggie,
so you
vegan
kind of scratch
food.
your own itch, I think is
Totally,
fair
yeah.
to say.
Yeah.
So just to give a context, so we started in 2004 with a vegetable shop, and we opened a cafe, a vegetarian cafe. And I guess since then it's gone from, it's 2018, so we've got...
Overnight success, right?
Yeah. Overnight success 14 years later, where we've got, there's about 150 people work with us, and there's cafes, and we've got about 30 products in 1,000 stores in Ireland, and now in Waitrose in the UK, and cookbooks, as you said, in cafes and shops and a farm. So it's sprawled in so many different ways, but I think to pin it down to anything, it's the sense of community. It's really a physical community as well as an online community that's really epitomizes kind of, positive natural living, if I was to, and eating more plants,
Okay. It's funny, I have a bunch of students inside my academy, and I always say when you go to build an idea, a brand, or a business, that the natural tendency is to get your friends and your family to come over and buy your stuff and like your page. But the truth is that that's the easy way out, and it's not the way to find your real community. Then you got to do the hard work, and you got to go find those few people that actually love what you do and bring them in.
Yeah.
And that's usually when most people quit, because it's so hard and they're looking for gratification and people around them to say, okay, you're doing great. Because it takes years to do that.
Oh, huge.
And like, what was that like from 04 to like 08, 09, 2010 when you guys are doing that? How do you get through the dark moments? Because you guys are upbeat, but there must have been a time where you're like, this isn't going as fast as we hoped it to, or not.
It was even funny, like we used to get up at 4:30 and go into Dublin Fruit Market and drive a little red van. And the fruit market, I don't know if you've ever been to many fruit markets, it's a very nepotism, it's like old Dublin lads, like real men.
It's almost like an apprenticeship, like you had to get into, and it was a fraternity and a mindset, very male orientated. So it kind of happens from 4 a.m. till about 8 a.m. in the morning. You go in and buy your fruit and veg to sell in your shop, and it was real old school. And we certainly weren't welcomed in. We had studied business. We were from the south side. We were like yuppies, educate. So quite a story was we used to go in there and you'd see them standing there and they go, oh fucking, and you hear them mumbling under the bed. I give these lads a month, jeez, a pair of pussies or whatever. You hear that kind of stuff. And they looked down at us, and we were the most chipper people skipping around. Oh wow, we were so chipper that they really hated us. They really didn't want to support us in any sense, and they try and rip you off at every sense. And it wasn't until like we were 24 and we were busy working all the time that we realized in Greystones, there's a lot of au pairs like from Mexico and Spain and France, and quite attractive females. And we used to kind of, we were young virile males, not to say we're not now, but we used to hit on them and go, you're from Mexico. Oh, wow. Have you been to the fruit market yet? And we'd say, it's an essential thing that you've got to do when you're in Ireland. And I'll pick you up at 4 o'clock tomorrow. Brilliant. So you'd bring them into
this is 4 a.m.
4 a.m. and you'd pick them in and you'd say it's an essential part of your Irish experience and whatever. And it'd be a date. So you'd bring in a pretty au pair from wherever. And we started bringing in girls with us into the fruit market and giving them tours. And the lads, because they're a very male dominant place, they'd be, oh, gee, how you love, would you like some strawberries? And giving them flowers. And we built up our respect, and suddenly the lads opened up to us and
welcomed us into the fraternity.
Yeah.
Okay, so that helped, and your persistence helped.
Yeah. I think, and to answer your question more directly, I think being a twin, it naturally gives you more resilience. It gives you a blind spot because you're blind in your own little world, but at the same time, it supports you. Like it's kind of unconditional support and sense of, like even coming on this trip to London on Monday, we were getting off the plane and I was like, it's great to be back on holidays. Oh yeah, we're working. Yeah, we're working. But it's that sense of excitement.
If I can answer that, I would say blind naivety and ridiculous enthusiasm and just kind of having fun. I think having fun and not seeing it, the way, if you're someone that studied business and you're going at something from an entrepreneurial point of view that's more financial based, it's quite a different metric than kind of two people starting with a mission of trying to create a better world and really to try to build a community. the metrics there are kind of having fun, you know, your staff engage, you can see the value, you get immediate feedback from the vibe, which sounds completely ephemeral and strange and whatever, but those are more the metrics we were into back at that stage. Because I remember we'd go to the accountant every year and we'd have to sign the annual accounts and whatever, and we'd study business, so we're quite a fay with P&Ls and, you know, balance sheets and whatever, and she'd go, do you want to know how you've done? And we'd both go, no, we're measuring this thing differently, which was quite irresponsible at the time, but we were able to live on fresh air. We were like, up until we were 30, we didn't have any kids, any responsibilities. We could live on, we didn't drink, we didn't smoke, we didn't, you know, we could live.
Meditation was our drug.
And yoga were our drugs of choice, you know, so we could live on and we had a fruit shop and a vegan cafe, so we really could live on pretty close to zero.
Yeah, I've had that same conversation with my accountants where they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, trust me, I know what I'm doing.
This is right, this is coming, you gotta believe
a 100-year plan. And they're like, what? And then they hear about the ayahuasca and the rest, and they're like, okay, trust me, we got this.